Today, we talk about 5 of my favorite horror-themed NES games. And to be fair, we talk about why some of them might not be your favorites. What's up, folks? You've got Rob from Terror at Synth High, and the Nintendo Entertainment System was the first system that I ever owned when I was a kid. And I got it when I was about 6 or 7 years old, and that was around the time that I was getting into horror movies. So of course when I saw that there were a lot of video games on it that were horror related, that's what I wanted to play. In addition to playing while I was younger, I also played throughout my life when I got a little bit older, and it became easier to get games. So I checked out more of the library when I was older than when I was younger. Some of the ones stuck with me from when I was younger, some of the ones I found out about when I was older. So what made the list? Well, let's check it out. Coming in the number 5 spot today is Maniac Mansion. Now, Maniac Mansion tells the story of Dave and his friends that go to rescue Dave's girlfriend from a mansion that has meteors just landed, and it's controlled the mind of this scientist. So yeah, that story might not sound like anything too crazy, but the gameplay is really what did it. It was the first point-and-click adventure by LucasArts, who went on to do a lot more point-and-click adventures. Now at the time I couldn't quite get my head wrapped around that, because I was pretty young. Well, check it out.
What is this game? Oh, Maniacs, cool. Dialogue, ew. Where's the jump button? Come on, I want to kill bad guys so bad. Like, come on, guys.
Now, even though that was my first experience with Maniac Mansion, I revisited it a few years after that, and I enjoyed it a lot more then. The game's clever and funny and plays back to and makes fun of a lot of tropes about horror, and it also kind of revolutionized this whole point-and-click adventure style, which is, to this day, one of my favorite styles of games. You know, LucasArts, it was first starting off, this was their first game. There were other adventure games before that, of course, but this one was really just made it the ease of being able to have different directives and, you know, what you would want to do in a room and, you know, what you want to do with the objects in the room. It just made it a lot easier than what was usually before that more of like a text adventure kind of game. So yeah, my hat off to that. This is not the best version of the game. That was really on the computer versions that were before this. This was released in 1990, the NES version. The other ones were in 1987. But it's the first way that I played it. And it's also, you know, there aren't really too many point-and-click adventures on the NES. So, number 5, Maniac Mansion. The number 4 spot today is taken by Friday the 13th. Yeah, that game. And you might be thinking, I don't like that game. That's fair. I completely get that that game was a letdown to a lot of people. It's almost like when you go to a new place to eat that's like really hyped up. And like, you still don't know exactly what you're gonna get. And that's exactly how certain video game companies made a lot of fans feel back in the day. Hey, what's up, bud? Yeah, I'm just looking for like a good traditional pie, like whatever your best is. Oh, our best traditional? I'll tell you what, we make a great deep dish, sir. I'll get that right up for you. Deluxe, all the fixings. You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. Give me a minute. Yeah, deep dish, you say? That sounds pretty good. Haven't had that in a while. That's, yeah, with deluxe. With the sausage, right? And the chopped up onion. Yeah, it's good. It's good, right? It's good. This isn't what I expected. Well, this is what you get. Eat it. Yeah, it wasn't exactly the Friday the 13th experience we were all clamoring for. Alright, so there were 2 main problems with this game. The one was that it was just confusing as hell, especially once you got out into the forest, and they purposely made it very confusing so you couldn't find your way around, figure out what you needed to do. There weren't really clear directives or anything like that. The other problem is that in addition to it being confusing, it was also really hard, but not, I mean, that was common with NES games. It was hard, but it wasn't fun hard. It was just punishing hard. And that mixed with the confusion meant that what you really had in front of you was a really short game that you just never see the end of, or really know if you were near the end of, for the most part. I think what fans would have really liked more would have been, a game that was moderate difficulty, that was a longer game and had a little more going on. Now, of course, that's not really fair to say because, there were software limitations, as well as limitations in, the teams that they had built to do this. Sometimes they were very small teams. I'm trying to give them some leeway here because I think this game could have been really great. So why do I like this game then? Because at the end of the day, I think it's actually a really good horror game for the NES. You had to go from cabin to cabin to figure out different cryptic messages to be able to lead you to other hints that would then lead you to other items that you'd be able to use to, try to kill Jason, and stronger ways to do that. And, he could attack you anywhere, like basically anywhere in the game, which was really interesting. You'd never know when he was going to pop up. And that was the first time I'd seen anything like that. And, obviously as a big horror fan and as a big, survival horror fan, as that became more of a genre, this, had some roots in that for me. So I really think if this game had, a different title to it and had a little bit of clearer direction, that we wouldn't be thinking about it as the clunker as we do today. Definitely worthy of the number 4 spot on this list today for me. Alright, I think most of us can agree that this deserves a spot on the list. Number 3, Castlevania. I don't have too much new to say about Castlevania. I mean, this is the one that pretty much started it all. 1986 on the Nintendo Entertainment System. There were many great games to follow. It inspired so many great games. A game that had great music, especially at the time when it came out. A game that had great controls. It was hard, but it was fair. And based on old Universal monsters for the most part, as well as other demons and skeletons, all in a decrepit castle. I mean, what more could you really ask for? And young me? Oh, young me loved this game.
Oh man, Castlevania's so cool. Silent Belmont's really cool. I'm gonna play Castlevania forever. I'm gonna Castlevania this house. Castlevania. Get ready, I'm playing Castlevania. Oh shoot. Okay, Castlevania. I gotta see something in here before. Dice awesome. I gotta be careful. Real quick. That's ridiculous. I gotta get some hearts. What the hell is that? Okay, this is what we trained for. Mother of God. Oh boy. Come into my house, will you? Okay, you've been in this house. Mom, the cat ripped the couch.
The number 2 spot on the list today is very inspired by Castlevania, and that is Kickmaster. Now, I didn't find out about Kickmaster until well after the NES was through its life cycle. I was probably 17 or 18, something like that. But this game is not really that well known, and it should be. It's very similar to Castlevania. It plays really well. The controls are great. You use a kick instead of, using a whip. So, Simon Belmont's cool and all, but I grew up to be a Kickmaster. Whoa, no, stop. I was about to do a really lazy joke. I just did the whole thing about whipping crap around the house, and I was just about to kick the chair over. I'm sorry. With Terror at Synth High, I really try to make some highbrow jokes, or at least vary my jokes a lot, and, make them not just all the same thing. I give up. There's a lot of fun to be had with Kickmaster. Beside being able to just kick the crap out of stuff, there's also magic spells and there's a leveling up system. And yeah, it's pretty much a Castlevania clone, but a really good one. The reason that I put it higher on my list than the original Castlevania is because I probably played it more, to be quite honest. Certainly one of my favorite horror-themed games on the NES. Kickmaster. And the number one spot for this list today goes to Jaws. Yeah, maybe you don't like this one either. I also don't know what they were thinking when they made it.
Being the boss. Being the boss. I sure do love... Oop. Go ahead, Audrey.
Yes, Mr. Ryan, Ken from Market Research is here for you.
Ken. Is he new?
Kind of, Mr. Ryan.
Oh,
I also
okay,
want to
alright.
see,
Send-
do you
send
want
him
to
in.
have dinner
What?
on Friday? You know my husband died a couple of years
Hey,
ago.
what?
And you work so hard, and I just think you could
Audrey,
use a
I'm
break
busy.
and-
We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about it later, okay, Audrey? All right, goodbye. Ken, come on in.
Mr. Ryan, I got so many good ideas for you, buddy. Oh, thank you so much for meeting with me on short notice.
Okay, lay it on me.
I've been thinking a lot about this, all right? And kids love Jaws, right? Right? So you know what else they like? Smaller sharks. Lots of little smaller sharks all over the place. Little stingrays, but most of all, jellyfish. Jellyfish, you bomb them. You bomb them all. Went from planes, you know, it's like a bonus round. Woo, go back and forth. It's great. And then the kids dip back and forth to port, too, because they love boats. They love port. They go from port to port to port to port to port to port. This is going to be the best idea, I'm telling you. Don't worry. This is going to work, okay? There's a lot of research. Lots of research.
Thank you, Ken. I'll get in touch with you. Okay, thank you, Ken.
Okay, but just remember with the jellyfish, okay? How does this thing work? What is... It's a tricky one. But just remember, jellyfish.
Just close the door. Close the door. Audrey, what the hell? Don't we screen these people? Isn't that your job? Do you like your job here, Audrey?
Yes, Mr. Ryan, Ken's part of the tax relief program. His entire family died in a jellyfish accident.
A layperson.
He used to work in the mailroom, remember?
Saucy. I like it. Get in touch with development. We're moving forward. Audrey. And about what you were saying. I will never have dinner with you. Goodbye.
So yeah, it's a little bit convoluted, and this is another one of those games I think suffered from the, what am I really supposed to be doing thing. But once you do figure that out, it's actually a pretty simple system. You're just going back and forth to ports, collecting shells, and making it so you level up so you can get stronger and hit Jaws harder, and then get to the final scene where you're going to have to put the bow of the boat inside of them. That sounded a little sexual. That wasn't supposed to sound sexual. Jaws to me feels like it should have been an old school arcade game in like the early 90s, like in an arcade cabinet. You're playing for points. It's pretty repetitive at times, for sure. But what's also really cool about it is that it's a pretty short game. Maybe that wasn't what you were looking for when you were younger, but today I really like just being able to pick it up. I do so every couple of years or so, just play through it, because it's also beatable. That's another thing that I like about it too, is, you put a little bit of effort into it, it's fun, it plays to, Jaws similar to in Friday the 13th, where Jason can come at any time. You can be dropped off in the water someplace and Jaws can, find his way over to it, and there's a little bit of suspensefulness in that. All right, not a ton of suspense, you'll get used to it pretty quick, but I like it. I think the game's fun, and it's easily one of the games that I've played the most on NES, and that's why it earns the number one spot for this list today. So that's what I've got for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me and spending your time here with me. If you did enjoy this, please consider subscribing to the channel. Always tons of great stuff coming up for you, as well as a whole library of stuff in the past. I always love talking about the NES because that was, like I said, my first system. Tons of nostalgia for that. As well as going back and looking at all these horror things with all their flaws and the great times they were. So until next time.
Castlevania. Ow. Why?
Oh yeah, it's gonna work well.
Hiya!
38 years old. What'd you do over the weekend? Take my shoes to my legs and kick chairs around my apartment.